Hello, and very happy to see you on the Sussex Daily News channel. This morning, we give you an opinion of the blog Harry Markle, another nasty push from Harry and Meghan. The Sussexes claim to want privacy. That's why they said they left the royal family, but in the same breath said they wanted to make their own money because the expenses and the allowances weren't enough. We can see that because Meghan Markle appears to have a predilection for supporting lawyers. It appears that the lawsuit threatened earlier this year has finally surfaced, but it's in the name of the baby Archie. I've lost count of how many law firms the Sussexes are paying at present, but there must be at least half a dozen at the last count. Shillings, Harbottle & Lewis, Cameron McKenna, Pillsbury, Fieldfisher, and Venable. There aren't many details except Shillings are representing them and that it involves Splash News. It's all rather tiresome, to be frank, because the photos in question show Meghan Markle smiling and looking directly at the cameras, while the protection officers walks behind chatting. Apparently this was on a public path, but if you felt your privacy was being breached, a normal reaction would be to turn your back to the camera or lower your face, and then tell your security detail to shield you and ask the photographers to move on. None of that appeared to happen as Meghan Markle posed for the shots, so how can she claim it was a breach of privacy? In these instances, the photographer is approached and asked to delete the images, if that's the case. But apparently a sleeping baby who didn't see the cameras or indeed could be identified as Archie is instigating a lawsuit against the photo agency. No, you aren't in another dimension reading about a sleeping baby who can't speak suing a photo agency for taking images of the back of his legs. But this is how ridiculous things have become. That's if that really was the baby in the sling as well, because who is to say it is Archie because all you can see are two legs that look uncomfortable in a sling. Meghan Markle controls people by instigating willy-nilly lawsuits purely as a faux status symbol. In reality, it's a huge waste of money and time. Look at the facts: how many starving people could have been fed and housed with the legal fees that she has spent on this frivolous case, and what other work could the lawyers and court staff be doing instead? My feeling is that Meghan Markle wants this settled out of court, knowing that she probably wouldn't win, where it's very possible that her PR team helped set up the images in the first place. The question remains, why did she want another reason to pursue a lawsuit? Because it suits her narrative and helps her look like a victim, thus appealing to the cult fans. And it also helps validate her other lawsuit. By appearing to stand up to the media, she's playing to her cult fans to say, look, I'm not letting them get away with it, in an attempt to elicit damages that will be donated to a charity so she will look like a savior. It's all a very twisted and sick game she is playing. I wouldn't put it past Meghan Markle to sue anyone or to ditch anyone that no longer serves a purpose. If her father or Samantha, her sister, had any assets, she would probably have sued them, but you don't sue people who have no money because in civil law it's all about financial damages. As for those who have ditched in the past, her former best friends of Naki, Pretty, and Jessica Mulroney have discovered Meghan Markle doesn't know the meaning of the word friendship or loyalty. I've read that Jessica Mulroney is hiring a team of lawyers and PR folks to help salvage her reputation. But as someone who has worked in crisis management, there isn't much she can do except lie low for now. What she did was wrong, and the world knows that, and no amount of PR will help, nor will copious amounts of charity work help her either. There's a chance she can redeem herself, though, and that is to come clean regarding People magazine's interview, and also when Meghan Markle dumped Cory Batello, as in when did Meghan Markle really first clap her eyes on Harry? People will respect the truth, and Jessica Mulroney needs to decide whether it's her or her family she saves, or to harbor the secrets of Meghan Markle who used her and dumped her. We could all see it coming, and Meghan Markle was just waiting for an excuse to dump her as she did Ninaki. Then there are the coordinated appearances via a video clip performance or a surprise visit to a random and desperate charity that doesn't know any better. These tend to appear when the duo needs to deflect from the news they don't want people to read about, or as a promotion push for a stunt they are about to pull. Another video appearance of Harry surfaced yesterday on the England Rugby Instagram, where he says a few words about the support the rugby teams provided during the COVID-19 crisis. However, he looks as if he's trying too hard again. I wonder how many takes it took. And rather than appealing to the nation as he used to be able to do, he looked like the child catcher from Chitty Chatty Bang Bang trying to lure people into his confidence. And there's more, as the Sussex PR team appears to have been paid again with the leaked story where the duo is to be represented by the Harry Walker agency. No one has confirmed it, but then again, it may be a ruse to try and get the agency to sign them. Irrespective of that, Being on the books doesn't guarantee work, merely that the agency will represent you if there are interested parties. They should probably have a chat with Kruger-Cowne, Meghan Markle's former agency, for a reference first, especially as she dumped them without notice and failed to fulfill her contractual obligations, with outstanding engagements and fees to be paid. I'm sure Gina Nelthorpe-Cowne will be able to relay her experience as Meghan Markle's former agent. I've noticed that several people are disgusted that they may make lots of money this way, but the figures that the newspapers are throwing around are purely speculative. Most of these events are held by investment banks, industry award ceremonies, and the like, where the speakers are booked usually a year in advance, as these events take months to plan. Most delegates will pay to attend these events, and that's how they make money, and if there aren't enough paying delegates, then the event gets cancelled. The other way events are paid for is through a marketing budget, but given that many companies have let staff go, the marketing budget is the first thing to go. It would be foolhardy to spend ridiculous amounts on marketing when jobs have been lost and staff has had to take pay cuts, so it's highly unlikely that budgets will allow for high speaker fees. Most are in swish locations with elite networking streams and gourmet food and drinks included, and often that's what people go for, and to write it off as a workday that is expensed by their company. Those days are behind us as people are working remotely, and most are trying to hold on to their jobs, and so these events aren't essential during these COVID-19 times. In a bid to try and keep people interested, some have attempted virtual events that you still have to pay for, but it doesn't really work. People want networking contacts to sit at a table with them and have a drink over business discussions, things you can't do with a Zoom meeting or event. Some are optimistic that things will get back to normal in October and November, but that's if there isn't a second wave, which there will be, but how severe it will remain to be seen. The coronavirus was traced to the UK via a delegate that attended a conference in Singapore, and thus such events will be very difficult to hold given that these events attract international clients. Add to the fact that most of these people would not want to risk going to an event either with the travel restrictions. I personally can't see any events happening until next year at the earliest, and we must remember that the USA is still in the middle of their first wave of the coronavirus, having recorded over 36,000 new cases yesterday, which is the highest number to date. It's far too early to plan any event safely where there will be a large audience. The logistics involved can be complex, from first of all, securing a venue and appropriate accommodation, finding sponsors, creating a program and running order, marketing the event, and then finding speakers. Events such as these usually take at least 6 months to plan properly, and most take a year. It's highly unlikely that the Harkles will not be making any money this year through speaking gigs, and companies aren't going to want to pay huge sums either if they want to make a profit and to stay solvent. While many are reading Lady Colin Campbell's book, the important thing is to debunk the fake PR push that the Harkles have thrust at the world again, despite their insistence that they wanted a private life. The lawsuit is frivolous, and being signed by an agency that isn't hosting many, if any, events is hardly newsworthy either. Agencies often sign up people due to pressure, but as they don't have to pay them anything unless they work, there is little risk as there is no retainer, and the agency takes commission per gig. If someone is stupid enough to pay for an appearance, then that's their business, but if they think the Sussexes will attract an audience, then they are sorely mistaken. The Harkles are desperately bumbling on, but people are only interested at the end of this sorry debacle, and it will come eventually. Meanwhile, we have to endure more fake PR while Harry has his own issues, mainly establishing his visa and immigration status in the USA and sorting out his tax issues. How much longer can they take advantage of the hospitality of a stranger? And will Jessica Mulroney save herself and tell the truth about the People interview and when Meghan Markle really did first meet Harry? Jessica Mulroney owes Meghan Markle nothing. It was a 4.5-year friendship where both used each other, very much like MM using Harry's title and status to elevate herself. It was a high-stake game where she used racism as a fear tactic to get where she is, and to take advantage of that is purely despicable, especially as she is jumping on the Black Lives Matter about... Okay. How much lower can the Harkles stoop, and how does one stop enabling this dangerous game that they are playing? Charles must put a limit on their funding, and media outlets that encourage elaborated truths need to be held accountable for disseminating misleading information. The fans are fickle, and most are discovering that the duo isn't worth supporting, while we all patiently wait for the ultimate crash ending. just as we witnessed Jessica Maroney's anticipated demise. And you? What do you think about Meghan and Harry? Please let me know in the comments section and we discuss. Remember to like and share my video for anyone you think needs it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get more news from the royal family. Now have a nice day and see you in the next video.
Blog is meant to be passionate about a topic and wants to share it with the community. Reach out to more people by explaining itself. Meghan is moving in that direction. About yourself to advertise yourself. She lives on the trail, without progress, modern in her. The leaves of the season are changing leaves, receiving new things. Meghan is different. I see that she also has a good-looking appearance and face. But intellect and mind. Perhaps because she is like a robot, brain programming. Sadly, the story happened here. Meghan married Harry. She was creating her own cover. She created another layer that greatly affected her community, her people. Yes, we will continue to update and provide the fastest news. Subscribe to Sussex Daily News channel.